officially designating her as my main suspect. Because she's just so untrustworthy. With her very scary dead eyes. It's just too much for me to handle. She's got that bone tooth. It's so untrustworthy. I know that once we had landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over, but the local police are useless. And thanks to Miss Tenero and Miss Milla, I was able to preserve the crime scene. There's no way Miss Tenero is gonna be our evil person. Like, it's too pointed. She's definitely hiding something, I assume, but I'm assuming it's more so a secret identity, and she's going to secretly be like our assistant person, but she's not a murderer. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Tenero in private, so I'm left wondering, just what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation. I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. Wait. It's her! She's here! Oh my goodness! I heard the music. It's her! She's here! Franziska! I thought you were still in Germany. She's here! I go where I am needed. And wherever there are criminals to be caught. Her name is Franziska von Karma. Yes, she's here! She's really here! This is all I needed. I needed her here. This is Franziska. She's one of my favorite prosecutors. If I had to rank them, it would be like, this is gonna sound bad. It's gonna be like she's in third, because Clavier, well, you know what, her and Clavier are tied for second. Clavier grew on me, but she is one of my favorite prosecutors, especially when she's bantering with Edgeworth. It's so much fun, I love it. The daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of a relief if you were. Don't you try to flatter me. Miles Edgeworth, I'm placing you under arrest. Oh no! What? Also, she walks around with a whip. That's just her thing. That's her gimmick. It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I'll have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House of Von Karma would become a criminal. Have you no shame? What? No! There's no way. What? Franziska turning on her brother. Also, like, she calls him her little brother, and he's definitely older than her. Wait, it has all been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim. A misunderstanding. I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain himself. You waited for the victim on the first floor and then beat him to death. Franziska, do you honestly believe that I killed a man? Oh, look at those dots. She knows it's not true. I suppose I should reserve judgment until I have investigated this for myself. I can put your arrest on hold until then. She's, like, I know she's not being shown in the best light right here, but she is honestly, she's wonderful after she becomes better, like a better person, which happened in, like, the end of the second game, and then in the third game, she was wonderful. That's as it should be. Ha! I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you, of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for. Well, I have my own creed which I must fulfill, so why don't we solve this together? I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town. Trust me, I had no intention to. Detective Gumshoe... Gumshoe's back too! Yes, sir. Too slow. Ow. Listen up. I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand? She totally gave us Gumshoe on purpose. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm supposed to guard him? A simple yes or no, detective? Heck, yes, sir. Understood, sir. You just leave it to me. Miles Edgeworth. If you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you'll excuse me. Good to see you again, Miles Edgeworth, sir. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. Thank you, detective. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit, I'm a bit curious as to what Franziska is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well. In that case, I have a few questions for you. Who are all these people? Lunchland. Oh. Not bad. I guess it's gotten big enough to warrant its own branch shops. Oh, that's a thing from the first game, I think? First game, like one of the last case. Which should I go with? I recommend our airport special, World Flags lunch boxes, only available for a limited time. We have a variety of a variety of lunch boxes made up to look like different countries' flags. I wonder if they're aiming to take Lunchland to the international market. Perhaps. So Franziska is, I guess this is a bit spoilery, but not really. She is, Edgeworth's, like, Edgeworth is her adopted brother. He's older than her, but she just, like, flexes on him and is like, this is my little brother Edgeworth. And it's not true at all. But it's hilarious. Ooh, I can present something? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, I think something just fell out of your pocket. What are you... Gurk. So, did something fall out or not? I didn't, get a good look, sir. It doesn't concern you, so don't worry about it. My prosecutor's badge of all things. Gumshoe must never know that I dropped it. We have our pride to uphold. So how is the initial investigation going? We just shipped the bodies off to the coroner's office. And we're taking statements now, sir. That sounds like Franziska. She was always good at quick responses to a case. I'd say she was, a little too quick, sir. Oh? How so? I rushed on over as soon as I got word of the affair, sir. But somehow when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here, barking out orders to everyone. It was kind of creepy, as though she knew there had been a murder or something. That's odd. And had come in advance to await your flight's arrival. That is sort of odd. Okay. Theory time. How did Francisca know? Miss Tenero told her. Miss Tenero is hiding under a secret identity, and she warned Francisca. She was like, "Hey, Francisca, your bro's under investigation for murder." And Francisca's like, "Oh, darn it, my brother's under investigation for murder. Well, I guess I'll go up there, because I'm the prosecutor who's most likely to give him a fair shake." And then she went here, and she's like, "Yeah, I hate you, brother. Hate. And I'm also going to be running your case. So whatever you do, don't look around. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge." That's the only interpretation I'm accepting. And no, I'm not listening to criticism. Plus, I still don't know why she's here in America. There must be some backstory to all of this. Miss Von Karma just kind of popped up at the prosecutor's office about a week ago, sir. Something about chasing down leads related to a certain incident. No details? It's kind of top secret. So she can't talk about it, even with me, sir. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her whip. Plus, I doubt the top secret part was what stopped her from talking to you, Detective. Rude! He's tearing apart Gumshoe like that. Like, rude. Although, I wonder if her case has anything to do with mine. Anyway, that's about all the info I have, sir. We should find out more as we investigate. Yes, it is high time to resume my investigation. Oh, there's a bird in the pine tree. Starting with talking to the people involved in this case afresh. Afresh. I don't like how that's said. Let's go meet them. Oh, there's the captain. Maybe I should keep the captain as a suspect. He looks so weird. So, you must be the captain. Why, yes I am. And who might you be? I am the prodigy prosecutor, Francisca Von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Don't you dare, Captain. Getting friendly with another woman. Oh, weird. I'll never forgive you if you do. What are you talking about? I only have eyes for you, my dear Cammy. I wouldn't bet money on our dear captain to be such of a... That does explain the uniform. You're right. Oh my goodness, it's all coming together. Oh god. To be much of a reputable person. Sure you don't want to ask the captain some questions, sir? He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he would know anything of use. Anyway, I'd like to leave that type of witness to Francisca and her whip. Just stroll on past. Ah! I like just Edward's little shrug. Like, yep, he's getting what he's getting. That was fun. Now see here. Hack! This is sorry, I'm sorry! How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be the criminal, I told you. Mr. LeBlanc. Oh, it is you. Tell this man to stop stopping me from going. Time is money. I don't have even 1 second of wasteful time to spend. Here, let me talk to you people. Did you finish taking his statement yet? Yep, all done, sir. I do not concern if you're not done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. I want to know what your cargo is. If you make a single scratch on my art, you will pay. Art? What sort of art? Mr. LeBlanc is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them. Oh, hi Nizarplay. We're just hopefully finishing up this episode of, or this case for investigation. We're about halfway through, and Francisca just showed up. Thank you. Very quick Google search. It also was dual purpose for, Tenaire, Rhoda. But here's my theory. I don't think Rhoda is a flight attendant. I think she's undercover, and she's lying about being one. That's the start of my theory. But there's practically a mountain of them, large and small. From folk costumes to stone statues, I sell all kinds of arts. Folk costumes. Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat. It kind of looks like that other piece of cloth. Oh yeah, it does. Let me present. Do I have the, that's true, it does look like this. Mr. LeBlanc, can you please take a look at this for me? Oh, it's a Borginian cloth. As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose. Yes, of course. This fabric is so famous. Orders come from over the seas for more. Then, this is the cargo you were talking about earlier? No. My cargo, this time, is many gigantic. You, detective, when can I have my cargo moved? You can get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal. The stubbornness of you police, it is no good. It is no good that attendant refuses to exit the attendance room, too. That attendant? I wonder if he's talking about Miss Tenaire. I also am curious if possibly... He said it's much bigger. Is he maybe talking about what was in this picture? Nope. Oh. I'm skipping that, but that was some words said. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc? She has taken into the attendance room for her interview. And then, they still have not come out. They make no sign of coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much earlier, quicker than her. Why is Miss Tenaire's interview the only one that's taking up so much time? It's Francisca. Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you? Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenaire. I wonder if you might grant me permissions to enter the flight attendant's room? Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances. I understand. You may have tripped those attendants with your sophisticated talking. But you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth. Really, their entire thing is they're just fighting siblings. Let's not complicate things and go with the most obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here, in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the verdict was seen, calling for an attendant until his body was found, the only person in this lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect. The likeliest suspect, Francisca? Do you have a problem with that? No, but it's not like you to use such vague wording. You're usually a bit more absolute. I'm simply trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend? She's like, nah, I still kind of believe in you, my brother. But not much. Thank you. But your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I want to continue my investigation, I'll have to break her line of logic. Fast. Oh, I hope they gave me back all my health. Just for your knowledge. No. I did a little rough during the last investigation. Lost a good deal of health. Alright. So we proved that the scene of the crime wasn't here, right? So I'm going to present the case showing that it wasn't conducted here. Yep. So, yeah, last time we proved that the murder had to take place in a different location. So it would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all. And what does that mean? I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece that proves that the body was moved from a different location. Gasp. The killer used this suitcase to move the victim's body. Meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all. Objection. Now, who's the one rashly jumping to conclusions? Excuse me? All you did was find this piece of cloth inside the suitcase. That doesn't prove that the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth. I expected you would come to that conclusion. It would seem I can't escape that easily. You should know better than that. Von Karma is perfect in every way. Ah, but did you know that the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point? As if there was proof of that. We have it. There was marks in the floor. The spilled grape juice in front of the elevator? Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Here's some drag marks, so I'm going to point them there. The mark here, wouldn't you say that it looks suspiciously like tracks from two wheels? I suppose. Further, there is also grape juice. Grape juice. Remember, wine doesn't exist in the Ace Attorney universe. Residue on the wheels of the suitcase. That means that the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here. I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else. I'm glad you've come to your senses. Not so fast. This still doesn't put you in the clear, not by a long shot. Oh, we got part 2. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit that turbulence. Okay, that's the part we're gonna break, because we know it had to break out from the case because there's no glass inside the case where the piggy bank was kept in the shop. And then you wait for the victim in the lounge, where you beat him to death. You're right, it was clearly Hobo Phoenix. Then, while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence and out flew the body from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from, and pretended to be the discoverer of the body. Not a bad bit of logic for something you thought of on the fly. Just what are you insinuating? That it's hogwash. That I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws in our logic in one fell swoop. All right. I'm gonna say, this one says specifically after the turbulence, I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna say this. There we go. Music stopping, always a good sign. The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in your testimony is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic. Essential tools that those who would stand in a courtroom must learn to master. But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake. This Mr. I Fly Piggy Bank is just such a fake. It is not the real murder weapon. What? The timing of when the bank was taken from the shop is important. And it was taken after the turbulence had occurred. But then, what about the blood on the bank? What do you make of that? I assume it was added after the murder, when the killer fabricated the weapon. The question then is, what was the real weapon? Because whatever the real weapon is, it must somehow directly tie the killer to either some location or directly tie to them by virtue of what the item is. Like in Danganronpa, if the murder weapon was, say, a sword, and someone's known for using a sword, that really closely ties them in as the murderer. I mean, that's not how a specific case went down, but I mean, it's close. But, yeah. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shelf and left it there. Then, the killer proceeded to pick the bank from off the ground. And took it to fabricate a fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. But finally, the victim's wallet was planted on the personage in my pocket. Oh, on my personage, in my pocket to be precise. Or how did the... Yeah, we don't know how the person really died then. Because we assumed it was blunt force trauma, but it could have been something else. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Akbay Hicks.